He used me as a shield for his true love, and watched while their fangirls destroyed my life. But when I opened my eyes again, I was 10 years in the past, back in that classroom holding his love letter. This time, I won't be the fool chasing the school heartthrob. I'll choose the quiet genius who becomes a billionaire. And choose myself first. The school heartthrob came up to me and threw down a love letter. "Ava, I like you." There were jeers from around us, but I secretly sneered. In my past life, I agreed to him, only to become a shield for the female lead. I was bullied by the male lead's pursuers, humiliated by the male lead's parents, and ultimately failed my college entrance exams. Given another chance, I immediately threw the love letter at the male lead and loudly rejected him. "Sorry, your grades are too poor. I prefer someone who excels in academics." I pointed to the silent academic star next to me, who would become a billionaire in the future. Like him. Ding! This novel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. "Ava, what's wrong?" Bella's voice rang in my ear. I realized I had truly returned to 10 years ago. I looked up at the date on the blackboard. It was today that Logan Reed, the school heartthrob, would confess to me. He would soon come to me with a pink love letter and confess his feelings in front of all our classmates. If I agreed to him, I would be bullied by the girls who pursued him for the next 2 years, and I would end up in a deep depression, never recovering. It wasn't until the moment I died in my past life that I realized I was in a novel world. The school heartthrob who confessed to me, Logan Reed, was the male lead. He was proud, cold, and arrogant, looking down on everyone. But there was one person he cherished and protected immensely. That person was Bella. Bella was my desk mate, innocent, cute, and sweet-looking. To protect her, Logan Reed confessed to Bella's best friend, me. I instantly became the target of everyone's hostility, and became Bella's shield. I lowered my head, a trace of hatred flashing in my eyes. I was just an ordinary person wanting a normal life. Why was I dragged into this love game as cannon fodder? Logan Reed is coming. Looks like he has a love letter. Is he going to confess? With the jeering voices rising, the corridor and classroom quickly filled with people. Logan walked through the crowd towards me. "Oh no!" My desk mate Bella suddenly blushed, lowering her head and muttering. But soon, Bella looked at me with a charming smile. "Ava, he must be coming for you." Yet, I was a blockhead when it came to feelings. In my past life, I never thought about dating. But when Bella and Logan ate together, they would bring me along. And when they went for walks, they would take me with them. People often teased that Bella and Logan were dating. Whenever that happened, Bella would push me out shyly, pointing at me. "No way, Logan must like Ava." People would mock. "How is that possible? Ava isn't as pretty as you, nor does she do as well in school. Logan would have to be blind to like her." I was certainly hurt, but my carefree nature meant I never took those words to heart. But Bella kept whispering in my ear, saying Logan must like me, and Logan would always secretly ask her about me. Over time, the fool in me actually started to believe that Logan had feelings for me. So much so that when he gave me a love letter, I didn't even notice that the handwriting wasn't his. I foolishly thought he had really written me a love letter. I coldly watched Bella's shy expression beside me. It was obvious. Although she said Logan was coming for me, she also thought he was going to confess to her. However, in the next second, Logan threw the love letter in front of me. "Ava, I like you. Go out with me." His faint affectionate gaze made me nauseous. He was looking at me, but he kept sneaking glances at Bella, as if worried his beloved would be hurt. Bella kept her head down, but I could feel her gaze. She must be staring at me, gritting her teeth and cursing me silently. The jeers around us abruptly stopped, and I heard someone whispering, "Oh my God, when did Ava hook up with Logan?" Ava stole Bella's crush, and they call themselves best friends. How shameless. Yeah right, some best friend. Looking back at my past self, I was such a naive fool. I was completely unaware of how they manipulated me. While I was being used as a scapegoat, the two of them started dating secretly. It wasn't until after the college entrance exams, when they both got into the same university, that everyone realized I was just a pawn, and they were truly in love. And Bella watched coldly as I was bullied for 2 years, never once defending me. "Ava, did you hear me?" Seeing that I wasn't responding, Logan Reed was getting impatient. In his eyes, it was probably an honor for me to be Bella's scapegoat. He thought that when he confessed to me, I should have gratefully accepted and then run around the track 3 times shouting, "I accept." I smiled slightly, stood up and threw the love letter at Bella. Then I forcefully lifted her chin. The expression on Bella's face hadn't even changed yet. That vicious and sinister look made everyone freeze for a moment. In the blink of an eye, Bella adjusted her expression, looking at me innocently, making everyone think they had just imagined it. "What's wrong, Ava?" I looked at Logan, who frowned as if he wanted to say something. I suddenly shouted, "All right, stop joking with me." I suddenly shouted loudly, "All right, stop joking with me. I'm so tired of being the third wheel every day, and now at such an important moment you're still joking with me? I'm really angry." I turned to Logan with a scolding voice. "I've told you before. You need to deliver your feelings yourself. You can't always rely on me to pass your love letters. I can't believe a grown man like you is so petty that you still need my help to confess. Do you even care about Bella?" My voice was loud and cheerful, and everyone immediately looked enlightened. So he was asking Ava to help pass love letters? I knew it. There's no way Logan would be interested in Ava. It makes sense if it's Bella. Exactly. Bella and Logan were a perfect match. Logan's friends started teasing him too. "Wow, you've kept this well hidden. Not even telling us about your secret relationship with Bella." These guys were Logan and Bella's loyal defenders. And in my past life they also believed I was the one obstructing the main couple, joining the girls and bullying me. Realizing that things were getting out of his control, Logan visibly panicked. His eyes darkened. Just as he was about to say something, I stood up, pulling Bella with me. "Bella, loudly tell everyone what you think. Don't be shy." Bella, under everyone's gaze, was flustered and even a bit bashful. She lowered her head. I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know?" I raised my voice. "Don't you always tell me how great Logan's body is? If you could, you'd love to have his children. You might have forgotten, but I haven't." Gasps filled the classroom. "Now the opportunity is right in front of you. If you don't want Logan, plenty of other girls do." These words seemed to remind Bella. Logan's unexpected confession had caught her off guard, so she couldn't help but worry if he really had feelings for me, even though she was prettier and better in every way. Girls always feel insecure in front of the person they like. Seeing her gradually waver, I suddenly started clapping. "Together! Together!" Our classmates caught on, clapping and cheering louder. "Together! Together!" In my previous life, I also agreed to Logan in such a situation, overwhelmed by a moment of pressure and foolish emotion. Since then, no matter how many times I mentioned breaking up, Logan coldly rejected me. He stood on the moral high ground, and as long as he, the superior, didn't say break up, I could never escape his shadow. This time Bella stood in my place. She almost instantly shouted out what was on her mind. "I do." Logan couldn't hold it in anymore. Although he was very happy that his crush also liked him, his plan had completely failed. He hesitated for a moment, took Bella's hand, but couldn't help casting a glance at me. In the end, he couldn't help but ask, "Ava, don't you like me?" He regretted it as soon as he spoke because Bella's face changed instantly, and the surrounding classmates also gave strange looks. What was going on? Logan had just confessed to Bella, and she accepted his confession. Yet he turned around and asked Bella's best friend if she liked him? This was too reckless. Logan's face was awkward, and he immediately tried to make up for it, but I didn't give him the chance. I immediately answered loudly, "No, I really don't like you because your grades are too poor. If I was going to act, I was going to act all the way." I absolutely didn't want to give them any chance to twist the story again. I like those who are good at studying, like. I pointed to the academic genius in the corner wearing black-framed glasses. Like him. The crowd around us stirred again. The academic genius looked up, and his gaze at me was inexplicably complicated. His look made me a bit guilty, so I immediately changed the subject. "All right, I'm not the main character today. Bella, Logan, you two must be careful when dating. Don't let the teachers find out, or it'll be terrible." In my previous life, when my relationship with Logan reached his mother's ears, she found me, slapped me, ordered me to break up with her son, and called me a seductress. At the time I thought Logan hadn't kept it a secret. Looking back now, Logan never intended to keep it a secret. Since he wanted me to be Bella's shield, naturally the more people who knew, the better. As for how much grief I suffered in front of his mother, he didn't care at all. What a devoted male lead, going to great lengths to protect his beloved. But it was me, a minor character, who was tormented. Someone shouted, "The teacher is coming." Everyone suddenly dispersed. Logan immediately let go of Bella's hand, his smile a bit stiff as he returned to his seat. Bella also sat down with a sweet expression. After the sweetness, she began to probe me. "Ava, do you really not like Logan? Do you like Lucas Parker? Is there a problem?" I glanced at her. "I think Lucas is much better looking than Logan." Bella looked back at Lucas, whose hair was almost covering his eyes, and awkwardly smiled. "Is that so?" I remained expressionless. The glasses did hide some of his looks, but I had seen him in his prime in my previous life. A month after Logan confessed to me, Lucas transferred schools. The next time I saw him was one day after graduation. He appeared on the big screen as a young entrepreneur. He wore gold-rimmed glasses, his hair slightly curled, looking every bit the refined, high-class gentleman. At that time I was curled up in a dark rental room, watching him climb the billionaire list on the screen. After inquiring, I learned that he started his own clothing company after graduation, while Logan was still deeply entangled with Bella. It was clear that Lucas was 100 times better than Logan, but did I really like him and want to pursue him? I didn't dare. After all, the distance between a cannon fodder like me, who had just climbed out of the gutter, and a favored child of the heavens like him was too great. Bella looked at Lucas for a while, then turned back and looked at me with a bit of regret. "Well, I still can't understand your taste, but I respect it. Do you want to pursue Lucas? I can help you." I smiled. "No need. I'll pursue him myself. I prefer a love between just two people." I was deliberately mocking her and Logan's situation. Who told them to drag me into their mess? Bella's face showed a moment of embarrassment but quickly returned to normal. After school, Logan was waiting for Bella and me at the school gate. When he saw me, he seemed to want to say something, but Bella stepped forward. Bella hooked her arm around Logan's and shyly waved at me. "Ava, I won't be walking you home today. You can go back by yourself." Logan mumbled something but didn't say anything in the end. I waved my hand with a forced smile. "Wish you both happiness." After they walked away, I rolled my eyes. But then I heard a voice. "Want to go home together?" I was stunned. When I turned my head, it was Lucas Parker. I remembered using him as an excuse today and felt a bit guilty. Just as I was about to refuse, Lucas asked again, "How long do you plan to avoid me?" Actually, Lucas and I were not just ordinary classmates. In fact, we were once the closest of friends. Lucas and I used to be neighbors living in the same villa community. Our parents were business partners. When we were kids, we often went to and from school together and played house. He would be the dad and I would be the mom, playing with teddy bears all day long. He was quiet, so I would drag him around. He wasn't popular with other kids, so I helped him make friends. Later, my family's business failed, my father passed away, and my mother remarried. I moved out of the villa community and lived alone, gradually losing contact with him, until last year in high school when we were placed in the same class. We met again, and I pretended not to know him. I thought he had forgotten about me too, but he clearly hadn't. I gave an awkward smile. "How am I avoiding you?" "It's just that you are usually busy with your studies, so I don't dare disturb you." Lucas's expression remained unchanged. "I only study at school. After school I have plenty of time. You can disturb me anytime. Besides, didn't you say you like someone good at studying? I can help you with your studies." I was stunned, my face flushing red. I didn't expect Lucas to take my offhand remark seriously. How could I explain that I said those things just to divert attention from Logan and Bella? I stammered, unable to give an answer. Lucas stared at me. Suddenly, a trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes and he smiled self-deprecatingly. "I understand. You think I'm ugly." I widened my eyes and waved my hands repeatedly. No. I had seen him looking exactly like my type. How could I think he was ugly? It was just, ever since my family went bankrupt and moved out of the villa area, I felt there was an invisible line drawn between us. It seemed like we suddenly became very distant. He had come looking for me a few times, But I was always too scared to see him, not knowing what to say. But I knew that was my problem. It was me who changed. Lucas never changed. He was still as gentle and courteous, kind and polite to everyone. Such a good person shouldn't fall into self-doubt because of my selfishness. I immediately said, "I don't think you're ugly. Let's go home together." Only then did Lucas show a faint smile. "Okay." He deliberately slowed his pace to walk alongside me. Not knowing what to say, he spoke first. "If you want, I can help you with your studies. Didn't you say you wanted to get into a university? Your current grades are far from enough." I nodded instinctively, suddenly realizing that I hadn't told anyone about wanting to get into a university. "How did you know?" Lucas said. "I saw it on the wish wall." I was taken aback. Among nearly 3,000 students in the school, everyone wrote their wishes on the wall, and he actually saw mine. Was it a coincidence? Not a coincidence. Lucas shook his head. "When you were writing, I was standing not far away. I've always been watching you write." Suddenly, I felt an indescribable sensation in my heart. So even though I had been avoiding him for so many years, he still kept me in his thoughts as a friend. You don't blame me?" Lucas smiled. "Actually, I understand you. You've always been a strong-willed person, and the changes in your family must have had a great impact on you. So you want to change your fate through your own efforts." Listening to Lucas, he was indeed speaking my mind. I didn't expect him to be the one who understood me the most. "So I also hope you can get into a university. If you need help, I can tutor you." I hadn't come back to my senses yet and nodded instinctively. Lucas continued, "Actually, I was also surprised that you didn't accept Logan's confession today." I immediately said seriously, "Of course I wouldn't accept. Logan Reed may look okay, but he's rotten inside." Lucas was slightly taken aback, then smiled. "So you knew. That's good. I was always worried about how to tell you." I was puzzled and quickly asked tentatively, "Wait, what do you mean?" Lucas explained, "My parents and Logan's parents are business partners. They often have dinners together. At a dinner last month, my parents asked me to go with them and pick up Logan on the way. When I went to pick up Logan, he was just coming out of a nightclub with girls on both arms. He looked me straight in the eyes. He's not a good person. At least, not good enough for you." When Lucas said this, he stared at me to prove he wasn't lying. Because when we were kids, we made a pinky promise that neither of us could lie to the other. If we encountered a problem, we had to look into each other's eyes and speak the truth sincerely. I hadn't forgotten this childhood promise. Lucas hadn't forgotten either. "I always thought you liked Logan Reed," Lucas continued softly. "It wasn't until today that I realized Logan and Bella are a couple." I felt like crying and laughing at the same time. "Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" I asked. "What if I had accepted Logan's confession today? Would you never have told me any of this?" Just like in my past life, he would suddenly transfer and leave. Lucas was silent for a moment. "I'm sorry, Ava. If you had accepted his confession, I indeed wouldn't have told you this. I didn't want to make you sad. I would only try to use the cooperation between our families to threaten him, to treat you well. That's the only thing I had the courage to do." I was stunned because in my past life, after I accepted Logan's confession, Lucas and Logan had a period of friendship. A top student and a school heartthrob walking together attracted a lot of attention. But everyone found it strange. Why would Logan want to hang out with someone as rigid as Lucas? And during that time, I indeed wasn't bullied at all. Logan's attitude towards me was especially good. I even thought he really liked me. The turning point in everyone's attitude was when Lucas transferred and left. I suddenly understood. It turned out Lucas had been mediating for me all that time, trying to change Logan, trying to protect me. And Logan acted so well that Lucas thought Logan had truly changed and started sincerely treating me well. So Lucas felt at ease to leave. My voice choked. What if he doesn't change? Or what if he just pretends to treat me well? Would you believe him and then leave me without hesitation? Lucas was stunned. Obviously, one of the reasons we could play together was that we both weren't very sharp. We were too easily trusting of others and didn't understand all the twists and turns. I easily believed Bella's words and accepted Logan's confession, and he easily believed that Logan had changed because of him. So he left with peace of mind. From then on, our lives completely diverged. I suddenly sat by the roadside, buried my face in my arms and broke down crying. I couldn't believe I had missed so much without realizing it. Lucas stood beside me at a loss, his voice tinged with anxiety. Ava, it's my fault. I didn't think of this possibility. I won't leave you. I swear. Lucas raised his hand to the sky, ready to swear. I hurriedly stopped him with reddened eyes. I shook my head and like when we were kids I pretended to be fierce. No swearing. Can't you just let me cry quietly for a bit? Seeing that I wasn't really angry, Lucas visibly breathed a sigh of relief and slowly put his hand down. Go ahead and cry. I lowered my head again and started wailing. I didn't know if I was crying for myself or for the past Lucas. I avoided him, stayed away from him, yet he still endured grievances and setbacks for me, even considering my future before he left. At that time I was overwhelmed by inferiority and cowardice, completely unable to face him. I was such a terrible friend. I cried for a full half-hour before slowly raising my head. Lucas handed me a tissue and softly asked, "Shall we go home?" I took the tissue and wiped my face haphazardly. Yes. Let's go home. Lucas immediately reached out his hand. Your backpack. When we were kids we often walked home together, and I would always bully him into carrying my backpack. I obediently took off my backpack and handed it to him. After walking a few steps, I suddenly stopped and looked at Lucas with a slightly brightened gaze. Do the words you just said still count? Can you tutor me? Lucas's eyes filled with a smile. Always. The next day Lucas and I went to school together. As soon as we entered the classroom, we saw a group of girls led by Bella making a commotion. Oh my God, Ava, you got Lucas so quickly. It seems you really like him. Bella said with a smile. Oh, we live close to each other so we go to school together. I sat down expressionlessly, not even bothering to respond. Bella thought I was shy and laughed teasingly. Then she turned to everyone and asked, by the way, is anyone planning to perform at the coming-of-age ceremony this weekend? Bella was the teacher's designated performer for the dance. She said this to attract everyone's attention, and then bring up her dance performance. Everyone started discussing it, unaware of her intention. But my thoughts drifted away, recalling something unforgettable and deeply impactful from my past life. In the previous life's coming-of-age party, Bella had pulled me into signing up for a performance together. I sang and she danced. But on the day, Bella got sick and didn't go on stage. Logan's admirers bribed the makeup artist to mess up my makeup in the mirrorless backstage, making me look hideous. When I wanted to check a mirror, they pushed me onto the stage, saying there wasn't enough time. The moment I stepped on stage, the camera zoomed in on me, projecting my ugly face on the big screen. The entire hall burst into laughter. That day I lost all my dignity. Logan's mom found me backstage and gave me a scathing lecture, saying I disgraced the Reed family while posing as Logan's girlfriend. Ava, why don't we perform together? Bella turned to me now, saying the same thing as in my past life. Seeing me silent, Bella tugged at my arm, acting cute. Ava, you sing so well. This is a great opportunity to show off. She took the registration form from the class monitor, ready to write my name. No. I don't want to participate. I refused immediately. I did sing well, and in my past life, I did hope to gain everyone's favor through singing. But that day, I didn't even finish a single lyric before rushing off the stage crying and ruining my makeup backstage. Given another chance, I wouldn't want to sing for these people. Bella tried to persuade me again, but I firmly said, I don't want to participate. Don't write my name. My classmates were stunned to see me so adamantly refuse. Bella's face fell, showing a hurt expression, but she quickly forced a smile. It's okay. I'll perform alone then. The surrounding classmates quickly comforted her. I watched coldly, saying nothing. Her pitiful expression was something I had seen countless times and had grown tired of. Lucas seemed to notice my mood was off. After class, he stopped me in the hallway and asked what was wrong. I suddenly thought of something. Lucas, do you have a dance partner for the coming-of-age ceremony this weekend? In my past life, Lucas didn't attend the coming-of-age ceremony. Thinking back, it was probably because he was so solitary and quiet that no one invited him. Lucas stared at me in a daze. The next second, I reached out my hand to him. Can I invite you to the dance? Lucas immediately tensed up, his hand at his side clenching tightly. I sighed. If you don't want to, just forget it. Of course I want to, Lucas quickly said. He lowered his head somewhat sheepishly. It just so happens that I can give you a dress. I raised an eyebrow. What kind of dress? It's a dress I designed myself. You can design dresses? I was a bit surprised. Lucas smiled. I designed it a long time ago. I always thought it would suit you. I reached out my hand. Let me see the design. Lucas shook his head. I'll deliver the dress to your doorstep the day before the weekend party. So mysterious. I muttered softly, but couldn't help feeling a sense of anticipation in my heart. We returned to the classroom, and Bella had a teasing look on her face again. I couldn't be bothered to respond to her. At this moment, Logan walked over, looking at Bella with gentle eyes. Bella, would you like to go to the party with me? Bella's face instantly turned red. She nodded shyly. I would. Logan smiled and was about to leave, but paused when his gaze fell on me. Ava, do you have a dance partner? As soon as he said this, the surroundings suddenly became quiet. Logan looked at Bella, explaining with a slightly nervous tone. I was worried no one would invite Ava. I didn't want to leave you waiting for me alone. Bella's tense expression gradually relaxed. Oh, I see. I smiled faintly. Don't worry. I have a dance partner. I pointed to Lucas in the corner. I've already invited Lucas. Logan glanced at Lucas, his expression a bit complicated, as if he wanted to say something, but ultimately turned back to his seat. In the blink of an eye, it was the night before the party. There was a knock on the door. When I opened the door, there was only a gift box outside. I carried the box to the balcony and saw Lucas waving at me from downstairs. I'm heading back now. Lucas was always considerate. He knew it was dark and I was home alone, so he didn't come in. He just waved from a distance. I waved back with a smile. Go on then. I opened the gift box and saw a dark green spaghetti strap evening dress, and my eyes widened in surprise. In my previous life I had seen this dress. I had seen this elegant vintage dark green evening dress on the covers of several fashion magazines, partly because it was indeed stunning, and partly because of its story. It was said that the dress was designed by a designer to give to his best friend. He hoped that one day his friend would see this dress. My heartbeat grew louder, almost deafening, pounding in my ears. The person who designed this dress was Lucas, and he wanted to give it to me. And his best friend was me. When I was curled up in a dark rental room, wallowing in self-pity, I didn't know that someone in the world had always been thinking of me. Tears fell uncontrollably. I quickly wiped them away, afraid they might drip onto the dress. My phone buzzed with a message. It was from Lucas. Do you like it? I replied immediately. I love it very much. Thank you, my best friend. The dialog box on the other side repeatedly showed typing. Finally, he sent a smiley face. That's what I wanted to say. I hugged my phone, crying and laughing like a fool. Thankfully, this time I didn't miss it. Knock knock. There was another knock on the door. I thought Lucas had returned and rushed to open it, but outside stood a man in a suit holding a gift box. The man adjusted his sunglasses. I was sent by Mr. Reed to deliver this outfit. Logan Reed. 3 question marks popped up in my head. You must be mistaken. My name is Ava. You should be delivering this to Bella. The man remained expressionless. No, it's for Ava. Miss Bella has someone else delivering her outfit. I fell silent. What is Logan planning now? I was about to close the door, but the man stopped me. Mr. Reed said that you come from a poor family and can't afford an evening dress. This dress is worth $33,000, Miss Ava. It's probably the most expensive dress you'll ever wear in your life. I squinted. Did Logan tell you to say that too? The man shook his head. Even if Mr. Reed didn't say it, I understand. And this? He lifted the lid slightly. This is his favorite color. Blue. He was practically hinting that if I wore this dress, I might have a chance to win his master's favor. I sneered. If your master likes it so much, why don't you take it back and let him wear it himself? I looked him up and down. Or you wear it. Go to his room at midnight. You might have a chance to. Without waiting for him to speak, I closed the door and shouted through it. "If you don't leave, I'll call the police." Phew. I heard hurried footsteps leaving outside the door. When I opened it again, the gift box was left on the ground. I rolled my eyes and immediately called the local courier service to pick it up. The delivery guy asked me where to send it. I was going to say Logan's house, but then I had a sudden idea. I changed the address to Bella's house. I smiled as I handed over the gift box. Cash on delivery. The next evening, Lucas sent a text. "I'm waiting for you downstairs." I quickly threw on a blazer and rushed downstairs. Lucas was leaning against his bicycle, standing under a sycamore tree. The evening light cast a glow on the road, and his appearance overlapped with the image on the big screen from my past life. He had taken off his thick glasses, and his hair was styled in soft waves. He didn't need fancy clothes to look good. He was wearing clean casual clothes, yet his every move exuded an air of nobility. The moment our eyes met, I was a bit stunned, and so was he. "Do I look good?" I asked. Lucas nodded, staring into my eyes, and said gently, "You are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen." I blushed a little. "It's the dress that makes me look good. This dress is really beautiful. If you could start a clothing company in the future, this dress would definitely attract many people." Lucas shook his head. "I don't want to sell this dress to anyone. I always intended to give it to you. Only you can bring out its beauty." My heart warmed. "Got it." I sat on the back seat of the bicycle, and he took me to the venue reserved for the school party. But the closer we got to the auditorium, the more I remembered what happened backstage in my previous life, and my mind became unsettled. That incident had a huge impact on me. Now that Bella was in the position I was in back then, would she go through the same thing? I was indeed hurt a lot in my past life, but most of it was caused by Logan. Bella was at most a bystander. If I choose to stand by today, wouldn't I be no different from Bella back then? When I first returned to this life, I indeed wished Logan and Bella would die, wished I could kill them with my own hands. But after these few days, I became more and more calm. Maybe it's because I realized that there are people in this world worth cherishing. I shouldn't punish others with my future. And I don't want Lucas to get dragged into this revenge because of me. What I've always wanted is just a normal life. I asked softly, "Lucas, if you were bullied before, and the person you dislike encounters the same situation, would you warn her?" Lucas turned to look at me. "I wouldn't." I remained silent. Lucas continued, "But I hope you do." I was stunned. Most people would choose not to remind that person. And I would too, because even if I didn't remind her, I wouldn't feel guilty. But Lucas said, "You're different, Ava. You would feel guilty. You'd have psychological pressure. You'd be uneasy because you're a very kind person." I clenched my fists. "Kind and stupid, right?" Lucas's voice was unusually firm. "You're not stupid. You're just being yourself. As long as your kindness doesn't hurt others, no one has the right to judge you. If not reminding someone makes you feel guilty, then there's no need to force yourself to be the bad guy." My eyes felt warm. "What if I make a mistake?" Lucas said, "You won't make a mistake. Even if you do, I'll be your support. I'll bear it with you. We're best friends, aren't we?" "Yes." I made a quiet decision. We stood in front of the auditorium, linked arms, and stepped into the brightly lit hall, instantly drawing everyone's attention. Instantly, the entire hall turned to look at us. "Who is that? Is that Ava? Is the dress she's wearing haute couture? It looks so expensive." "It must be. But who's the guy next to her?" People gathered around, chattering nonstop, until Lucas finally spoke up and everyone realized he was the old-fashioned, studious Lucas from our class. The way people looked at me immediately became complicated. Someone even quietly pulled me aside and whispered, "Ava, did you always know Lucas was this handsome?" I smiled. "Yes. Actually, Lucas was quite cute as a child. Fair, tender, very well behaved and adorable. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put up with his slow nature and insisted on dragging him to play with me." I gave Lucas a look, signaling him to help deal with our classmates. "I'm going backstage to check things out." I had decided to remind Bella, just like Lucas said. Since I couldn't ignore my guilt, I shouldn't force myself to be a silent villain. As soon as I lifted the curtain backstage, I heard Bella's voice. "Long time no see, great makeup artist." I paused. I saw Bella chatting and laughing with the makeup artist who had given me an ugly makeover in my past life. Bella covered her mouth and giggled. I heard you're doing makeup for celebrities now. I'm afraid I won't be able to get you. The makeup artist replied familiarly. What are you talking about? We've known each other for so many years. If you call me, how could I not come? My mind went completely blank for a second. Not like this. So it wasn't random. It was Bella. Hey Ava. When did you get here? Bella pulled the makeup artist over to me, first complimenting my dress and then introducing the makeup artist. Ava, this is my childhood friend. I forced myself to calm down, my nails digging into my palm. Did you specially invite her today? Bella proudly flipped her hair. Of course. Otherwise, with her fame, who could get her? Ava, you're really missing out by not performing today. Alright, stop flattering me. The makeup artist laughed. You should get your makeup done. You're going on stage soon. I watched the two of them busy, my breathing gradually quickening, and the hatred that I had barely suppressed began to grow wildly again. No wonder such a famous makeup artist would come to our school for a small party. No wonder she targeted me, a complete stranger in my past life. In my previous life, I embarrassed myself on stage. After I stepped down, Bella found me pretending to be indignant, saying it must have been those girls who secretly had a crush on Logan. At the time, I believed her. So it was Bella. Is Bella inside? Logan's voice came from behind me, snapping me back to reality. When he saw me, a flash of amazement crossed his eyes, but he quickly frowned. Why aren't you wearing that dress? Logan, you're here. Hearing the voice, Bella immediately popped out of the dressing room and wrapped her arm around Logan's. Logan's eyes showed a moment of panic when he saw the blue dress on Bella. That dress. Bella looked sweet and smug. You're so funny. Sending me one dress was enough, but you sent two. Although this one doesn't quite fit my size, I think you'd like this one better, so I'm wearing it. How is it? Does it look good? Bella spun around in front of Logan, whose smile was rather stiff. It looks good. Bella kissed Logan on the cheek. I'm going to perform now. Cheer for me. Bella walked towards the stage. I stood behind Logan and suddenly spoke. Did you tell Bella? Logan was startled, quickly looking at Bella's back and only relaxing when he saw she was far away. Tell her what? Tell her you secretly sent me a dress. I smiled at him. I meant to return it to you but accidentally sent it to Bella. Logan awkwardly tugged at the corner of his mouth. You two are good friends. I casually sent a dress, what's the big deal? I nodded in agreement. You're right. Since it's no big deal, I'll just tell Bella later. Logan panicked. You wouldn't dare. I sneered. Why wouldn't I dare? Logan was about to retort when his phone suddenly rang. He glanced at the screen and quickly answered. A sharp voice came from the other end. After hanging up, Logan looked around nervously. Not finding anyone suitable, he finally turned to me with an extremely unpleasant expression. Ava, I need a favor. When my mom comes, block her for me. Don't let her interrupt Bella's performance. I raised an eyebrow. Why should I help you? Logan gritted his teeth. After it's done, I'll pay you, including hush money for the dress. I'll give you $50,000. I immediately pulled up the payment code. No need to wait until it's done. Pay now. After all, who else besides me, the eternal fool, would help you keep your secret? If there were others, you wouldn't trust them. He didn't know I had been reborn and thought my threat was just to get his attention. I want $100,000. And don't forget to note it as a voluntary gift. Logan looked at me in disbelief. His phone rang again. He had no time. He hurriedly scanned the payment code. Before he clicked pay, I stood on tiptoe and added an extra zero on his phone. Logan's eyes widened. Face recognition successful. I kindly reminded him. No need to widen your eyes so much. It can recognize you. Soon the notification sound for the payment rang. $1 million received. I smiled brightly. Young Master Reed truly has the means. Then I added lightly. But let me make it clear. I can't guarantee I'll stop your mom. Logan looked like he was about to vomit blood. When did you make that clear? The money was already paid. Now she said she might not be able to stop his mom? I shrugged. If you don't need me, can I leave? Logan panicked. Yes. I nodded. Okay. Whether it works or not, you still have to pay me the remaining balance. Logan said. There's a remaining balance? The sound of hurried high heels approached. Logan had no time to argue and fled in a panic. Soon Mrs. Reed, draped in fur, wearing high heels and dripping in jewelry, walked in. Which one is Bella? Let me see which vixen is seducing my son. The surrounding classmates immediately looked over, but no one dared to speak. Mrs. Reed took out her phone and started comparing photos of Bella, one by one, finally confirming she wasn't backstage. She must be on stage. Seeing her about to rush onto the stage, I quickly stopped her. I quickly blocked her path. Mrs. Reed, she's still performing. What are you doing? Get out of my way. Mrs. Reed raised her hand to hit me. My reflexes were quick, and before her slap could land, mine did. A crisp smack sounded backstage, and Mrs. Reed covered her now red cheek in disbelief. Why you dare hit me? I glanced at Logan, who was hiding in the dressing room, peeking through the crack in the door. He was also stunned. He had told me to stop her, not to hit her. I smiled toward him. It's okay. This is my gift to him. Then I lowered my voice for Mrs. Reed. Mrs. Reed, I understand how you feel, but can we sit down and talk? Her voice trembled. You dare hit me. What is there to talk about? I want to see my lawyer. I whispered calmly. Aren't you here to settle accounts with Bella? I'm Bella's best friend. Whatever you want to know, I can tell you. As soon as I realized the makeup artist was hired by Bella, the memories from my past life became clearer. I suddenly understood why Mrs. Reed had found my house and knew so much private information about me. It was all thanks to Bella. Now I would return the favor exactly as it was. If you rush up there now, first, it will damage your reputation. Second, if your son finds out, it will strain your relationship. I continued softly. You clearly have better ways to break them up. So why do it yourself? Mrs. Reed slowly calmed down, looking me up and down carefully. What useful information can you give me? I smiled, taking out a payment code again. 100,000 per piece. No credit. I glanced at the slight red mark on her face and added with a polite tone. I'll give you a 10% discount. As compensation for the slap. Mrs. Reed left, and Logan finally stepped out of the dressing room, breathing a long sigh of relief. I was counting the zeros on my phone screen, satisfied, when Logan asked, How did you do it? I lifted my chin proudly. Trade secret. Bella came down from the stage to a round of applause and cheers. Logan quickly went to her side. They hugged affectionately. Then Bella suddenly noticed the way everyone looked at her, with a touch of pity. Bella panicked. What's wrong? But with Logan there, no one dared to say anything. I waved my hand lightly. I have something to do, so I'll leave first. Without waiting for their response, I turned and left backstage. I rescued Lucas from the crowd of classmates. He let out a long breath once I pulled him into a quiet place. You're finally back. He didn't ask where I went or what I did. He just looked at me with bright eyes. The auditorium music started at the same time a commotion came from the crowd. Bella had run into Mrs. Reed the moment she left backstage, and the two began arguing. Everyone was gathering to watch, ignoring the opening of the first dance. I looked at Lucas, bent slightly, and extended my hand. Lucas Carter, would you like to dance the first dance with me? After finishing the first dance with Lucas, we held hands and left the bustling hall. 3 days later, Bella transferred to another school. It was said that her family's company had been targeted and attacked by the Reed family, and was on the verge of bankruptcy. Bella's parents eventually traced the problem back to her early relationship, so they immediately arranged for her transfer. When Bella left, she clung to Logan and refused to let go, tears streaming down her face. What a dramatic scene of forced separation. After being forced to part with his lover, Logan blocked my way after class. He gritted his teeth, eyes red as he stared at me. Ava, don't think I don't know what you've been doing behind our backs. I smiled. I never intended to hide anything from you. I did everything I promised. I didn't tell Bella you secretly gave me a dress, and I helped you stop your mom from ruining Bella's performance. Logan shouted. But you also took money from my mom. I blinked innocently. I never said I only took your money. Logan was stunned for a while, then pointed at my nose. You just wait. Feeling rather satisfied, I turned and walked back into the classroom, only to see Lucas standing at the door. Are you okay? He asked, glancing warily at Logan's retreating figure. I'm fine, I reassured him. I was fine, but the next day something happened to Lucas. The next day, I received a call from Lucas's parents. He was in the hospital. When I arrived, I learned Lucas had gotten into a fight with Logan right at the gate of my neighborhood. Lucas only had a few minor injuries on his face, but Logan ended up in the emergency room. No matter how much his parents asked, Lucas refused to explain the reason. It wasn't until I arrived that he finally showed a hint of vulnerability and grievance. Lucas looked at me, his voice low. I'm sorry. I wanted to let you handle it yourself, but I couldn't hold back. I shook my head. How could I blame him? Seeing Lucas finally willing to talk, his parents visibly relaxed. I looked at them and apologized. It's my fault for causing trouble for you. Mrs. Carter smiled gently. Silly child, we know you two are very close. Protecting a friend is the right thing to do. Lucas did the right thing today. She patted my head, and in that moment, I felt like I was back in my childhood, being treated with the same warmth and kindness. My eyes grew a little warm. All these years I hadn't visited them, yet they never treated me differently. They were as kind as ever. On the drive home, after calming myself, I said seriously, Mr. and Mrs. Carter, this whole situation started because of me. I will take responsibility. I had been waiting for an opportunity, but I didn't expect it to come so suddenly. They exchanged a glance, then looked at me and explained softly, Ava, even if it weren't because of you, we were planning to sever ties with the Reed family. I was stunned. Mrs. Carter continued, I wasn't sure whether to tell you. Before, when your family went bankrupt and we suffered heavy losses too, it was all due to the Reed family's machinations. For years we've been trying to find evidence against them, but we never had the chance. She paused and continued. Until this year when we partnered with them again, we discovered some clues. So don't blame yourself. We were bound to clash with the Reed family sooner or later. As I listened, my expression grew serious. So the Reed family was also behind my family's bankruptcy and downfall. I lowered my head, searching for a document on my phone. Then I handed the phone to Lucas. Mrs. Carter, I have some leads here. I don't know if they can help you. In my previous life, during the final stage of my life in a 10-square-meter rented room, the only thing keeping me going was reading scandals about the Reed family enterprises. Tax evasion, faulty construction, bribery. I noted every scandal in a notebook. Whenever I felt like giving up, I would tell myself, hang in there a bit longer. At least until you see them fall. But in that life, the Reed family rose too quickly. No one could take them down. In the end, Logan and Bella teamed up to save their family's enterprise. Now, though this was a few years earlier, the Reed family had not fully grown yet, meaning everything was still possible. Mrs. Carter took the documents from Lucas, her eyes brightening as she read. Ava. This is incredibly useful. I held my breath. Can it completely bankrupt the Reed family? She nodded heavily. I promise you it definitely can. My clenched fists slowly loosened. Good. The harm they once caused me and my family could finally be repaid. The next day, Logan didn't go to school. It was said he had been in the hospital. Half a month later, the seat he once occupied was permanently gone. Rumors spread that many things had happened to his family. Classmates desperately tried to figure out what was going on. Only Lucas and I knew the truth. His family had gone bankrupt. Completely. I saw Logan again one day after the college entrance exams. He was crouching in front of my apartment complex, no longer looking like the school heartthrob he once was. Lucas frowned at the sight of him, and I gestured for him to stay calm. Logan approached, ignoring Lucas, and asked, the transfer from that day, the money. Can you return it? I opened my phone, found the transfer record, and pointed to the words, voluntary gift. I smiled. Sorry. No refunds. Logan's eyes were red. You want to destroy me because you can't have me, is that it? Lucas and I exchanged confused glances. What was he even talking about? I almost found it funny. Before I could say anything else, Logan continued bitterly. Now that I'm like this, are you happy? seeing me beg in front of you? Does it make you proud? I slowly restrained my smile and replied calmly. Logan Reed, I never take pleasure in trampling on others' dignity. All I ever wanted was a normal life. But some people didn't see me as human. They saw me as a tool. A shield. They toyed with my feelings, trampled on my self-respect, and watched me cry and beg for help without lifting a finger. Logan stared at me in shock. He clearly hadn't expected that I had seen through everything from the start. I continued. But I'm not like those people. When I see you living miserably now, I don't feel proud or excited or satisfied. I only feel one thing. Logan swallowed. What feeling? I smiled. Relief. His brows knitted tightly. I spoke clearly. Because you and Bella are no longer the male and female protagonists towering over others. No longer treating ordinary people like ants. You've become ordinary too. And now no one else will be dragged into your little love drama. Your story is over. I took Lucas's hand and walked past Logan without looking back. Lucas squeezed my hand gently. Mom made your favorite cake. I nodded and smiled at him. My life was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If Ava's story of rebirth, self-worth, and choosing herself over toxic love touched you even a little, please hit the like button. Drop a comment about your favorite moment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps more stories like this reach the people who need them. And you definitely don't want to miss what comes next. Subscribe now and join our story family.